kama wa Mombasa, na hii yote inachangia kutokana na redio zetu ndani ya Mombasa hazisapoti nyimbo zetu, zinasapoti nyimbo za kwengine, na hata sisi wasanii wenye talent hapa Mombasa inakuwa hatusapotiwi. Hata kukitokea platform yoyote, sisi huwa tunatupwa, wanachukulia wasanii kutoka Nairobi au kutoka Tanzania. Swali langu ni kwamba, je, sisi wasanii ambao tuko hapa chini, endapo kutatokea platform kama hizo, ni vipi tutazipata? Kwa sababu wale mnaowapatia kazi ya kuleta curtain raiser wanaenda na ubaguzi, na hiyo ni kitu ambayo iko, na sisi siku zote tunatafuta chance kama hizo na hatupati. So mheshimiwa, hilo jambo naomba ulifanyie kazi. Ni hayo tu, sina mengi.
Many thought that by making a decision, and I was hoping that this question would actually come on the issue of Mogoka. We started a journey where it was just me, and eventually every leader, actually every elected and nominated leader in the whole region supported me except one, which I respect their views and their opinions. I was taken for the first time. I was taken to, I think, 13 cases were filed against me. All the cases, I said that the order remains in effect, except one that overruled. Coincidentally, that one happened to be a judgment from the Mogoka growing areas. So we ended up actually making it quite expensive for the product to come in. They've done random arrests here and there. What we have done, our Department of Health together with the Department of Education is currently doing psychological assessment to students. And the last report that I have, we had actually done close to 20-something thousand. And you'll be shocked by the way the results come in. And the way the results actually come in is a majority of the issues are, again, society. When I say society, I mean starting from back home. What are we trying to be able to do on this? One, constitutionally, my obligation, or rather that the obligation of the county government, is early childhood. In fact, that's the reason why someone took the county governments to court, that we cannot be able to pay bursaries until we do 1 to 3, which we have done and signed off on. The plan that we have, a decent percentage of a human brain is developed between the age of 0 to 6. What we intend to do from this financial year, we started with, let's try and improve our own ECDs, which worked well. There are some that we are building new. There are others that we found had stopped for reasons that were, various reasons. We are trying to negotiate and try to get them back, to try and get the contractors back. 2, we came up with a free feeding program to ensure that these kids are actually in school with a healthy nutrition. Then we even went further, that any ECD that belongs to the county government of Mombasa, what we are doing currently is we are paying the schools. The schools belong to us, but we pay them per child. The same way primary schools and secondary schools, the national government is paying something like a stipend for every child. So we are currently paying for every child who goes to ECD, and the children are not paying anything. What we have seen is an increase in our ECDs. From when we took office, there were about 8,000 students. Today we are closing to 11,000 students in our ECDs. The next thing that we want to do is from the time a mother gets pregnant. And this is going to be a very comprehensive program that we intend to do. And by the way, I'm not the governor who's going to see the benefit of this. Some say that, you know, it is whatever it is that I plan to do, I will see a zero effect during my time. But I hope and pray that whoever takes over after me gets a better youthful environment than myself. This problem starts, and for those of you who are psychologists, for those of you who believe that you know, any religion, you will agree with me. It starts from the time a mother is pregnant. How the family treats that particular mother, from the husband to the other members, how they actually are doing in their nutrition. Then after you have given birth, between 0 to 3, there are so many mothers who end up not being able to go to work. Why? Because they have nowhere to keep their child. It might seem very, very simple thing, but on average, 0 to 2 years at any given time in Mombasa are about 90,000 kids. 2 to 4 probably another 90,000, and 4 to 6 probably around another 90,000. A child starts going to ECD at the age of about 4. Between 0 to then is when you start taking a child and you take them to a home-based daycare center which is not regulated, nothing is done. You're starting to instill that in that child at a very, very early time. Yani mtoto anatupwa tu kama si kwa jirani, anachukuliwa anatupwa kwa ile sehemu ya kuweza kuangalia watoto yule aliyoko pale, na katika sehemu nyingi, kwa sababu watu lazima waweze kujimudu kimaisha. Mtu analipa kama shilingi 30 ama 50 niangalie mtoto wangu mpaka jioni. Jukumu lile ambalo kwamba tutalifanya sisi, na kama kiegezo bora, serikali ya county itakuwa ni ya kwanza katika serikali ambazo kwamba ni za umma, ama zile ambazo kwamba ni maofisi za umma. Tutaika sehemu mtu akizaa mtoto wake aweze kuwa yuko pale, aweze kuangaliwa, yeye mwenyewe anaweza kwenda pale na kumpatia mtoto maziwa. Na nikisema haya na maanisha hivi, kukua kwa mtoto, vile atakavyokuwa, tabia yake, desturi yake, yote yatalingana na vile ambavyo kwamba alivyoweza kulelewa na kuweza kukua kuanzia pale kabla hajazaliwa mpaka miaka 6. Kipengo hiki ni muhimu sana. Nitakayoyafanya mimi hayatakuwa na athari ambayo kwamba itaweza kuonekana kwa wakati wangu mimi, lakini atakayekuja baada yangu mimi, panapo majaliwa, apate kizazi ambacho kwamba kilikuwa kidogo ni bora zaidi. So one stage nyingine ambayo kwamba tunafanya, tulianza kuwalisha watoto, tukaanza sema wasome bure. All has gone well. Next is to create daycare centers, to create play areas for our children. Thirdly, ni lazima kutakuwa na wale ambao kwamba wanajulikana kama parental coaches. Zamani ilikuwa ni rahisi ukishaweza kuzaa mji wetu vile ulivyokuwa. Yule ambaye kwamba anajulikana kama parental coach kumsaidia yule mzazi alikuwa ni mama ama ni khale ama shangazi. Siku hizi kila mmoja yuko na mbio zake. Yule anaweza hata hajui amefika level gani, umepatiwa kiumbe, unamchukua kiumbe, hujui utaanza vipi, hujui utafika vipi. is it called post delivery trauma? Yeah, mama anaanza kupata ile depression sasa anaanza kumletea yule mtoto. So this is where it all starts. 2, as a matter of taking seriously the issue of mental health, we wale waliko kule si kwa sababu ya bangi, ni kwa sababu ya hii mogoka. Actually, you guys have the necessary following. I actually welcome you. Nendeni muende kwa ile station ya Nakada, nendeni kwa Portrees. You don't have to talk to those who are there because of their privacy, but zungumzeni na wale caretakers musikie. I raised this matter at the Council of Governors. Na mimi najua wazi wenye madawa watakuwa ni wa kwanza, pharmacies wataanza kupiga fujo. I raised this matter at the Council of Governors. Siku hizi sasa pia watu wameanza kutumia prescription medicine. By the way, those blue tablets are actually banned from being imported. It's not even banned in Mombasa. They are banned from being imported. So whatever is being consumed is illegally imported drugs. They're actually banned. There is no, I think the word is rohypnol. Imepigwa marufuku. Unfortunately, I don't have the power to be able to control the borders. But imepigwa marufuku. But the proposal that I have now given to the Council of Governors, sababu hatuwezi kutengeneza sheria ambayo kwamba itakuwa ya Mombasa peke yake. The proposal I've given to the Council of Governors through the Pharmacy and Poisons Board ni kusema ya kwa hizi dawa ambazo kwamba zinajulikana kama psychotropic, dawa ambazo kwamba zinatumika and can have a level of addiction, can make you high in one way or the other, ni afadhali zile dawa zizi zinatolewa katika hospitali peke yake, sio pharmacy za mitaani. Sijui kama tumeelewana. The other proposal that we are working on, and I know it seems, you know, sometimes even when I said that I will feed all the children in our ECDs for free, people thought, what are you talking about? When I said I will pay fees for every child going to school, people said, what are you talking about? But guess what? I did it. And the other thing that I'm now proposing to our own assembly is regulations on how and what a panga is. I will actually work with national government on this. Ukiwa na panga, hapa hatuna shamba. There's no reason for you to be carrying a panga. So ukiwa na panga, you will actually be considered you're carrying a weapon. I'm working with the national government on that. It is not going to be a walk in the park. Kwa sababu najua pia kuna watu wa human rights watasema kwa huyo alikuwa na haki yake kubeba panga, kwa sababu alikuwa anaamua tu kulifanya kama ni traditional attire. But sometimes we also have to say that a traditional attire can be taken badly in one way or the other. So in terms of mental health, there is a lot that we are currently doing. The issue, Abuza aniuliza, acha nijibu Kiswahili sasa. Anasema hatujapiga picha. Mimi naye tumfanya mazoezi pamoja, tukafanya paka TikTok videos pamoja. So there's no reason why you cannot take a picture with the governor. If at all there's a reason for us, it is the truth, isn't it? Nishakuona gym, tukafanya zoezi pamoja, ukaniambia ya kwa tupige video, and I promoted you and your page as well. It's been a while I've not trained with you. Maybe kwa sababu ya timing zangu sometimes inabidi ya kwa mimi naenda alfajiri sana kwa sababu nahitajika katika mikutano. But you have my support. Actually, I'm not even aware at all. I'm sorry, I do not know hiyo message ililetwa na nani, but najua ya kwa Majunjula there was a time, I think there was a t-shirt that was brought to myself. I'm not aware. I'm sorry. I will find out from the people who you told ili waweze kuniambia ilikuwaje. But I wish you well. I truly do wish you well na kutakia kila la kheri on that matter, and you have my support. Maybe I can be able to answer something else ili for purposes of the creative arts. You know, we actually removed the charges. You know, there used to be a charge. You can't just go and film. You can't just take images. We removed that charge. Someone did it. And, you know, I appended my signature and made sure that you're not charged anything as a means of. I put up a team to be able to advise on the creativeness. It was a creative board, and they are yet to give me a report, but I'm confident once they give me the report, itakuwa na njia ya kuweza kuwainua nyinyi ambao kwamba mko katika hii sekta hii. There was another issue that was asked by Mildred on the unemployment rate and what we can be able to do. Coincidentally, you're from Swahilipot. I'm actually currently working with Swahilipot on an app to be able to upload everyone's issues. Kisha Mohammed umeuliza habari hiyo talanta. Like I said, there's a creative board. And by the way, when I came up with this creative board, amongst ourselves, we can't all be part of creating the solution, because you see, you all listen to music, isn't it? You all listen to music, right? Now I'll tell you, I want to give you a very, very layman's perspective. Yani nakupatia ile lugha ya kinini sana on how good governance is meant to work. I'm going to listen to the person who is playing the violin. I'll listen to the person who's playing the piano. I'll listen to the person who is a drummist. I'll listen to the person who is a vocalist. I'll listen to the guitarist. Unless all these elements are going to work in symphony, what we are going to have is no longer good music, but we're going to have a lot of noise. So the reason why we needed this to be able to come up with a creative board is to bring on board those who are from this, you know, there are those who are in acting, there are those who are musicians, there are those who are in the social media space, there are those who are in many elements, you know. Acting in itself has many elements. There's screen and there's theater as well. Then there's those who are now spoken word and everything else. But if you're going to mix everything and jumble it up, we will not have melodious music. We are going to have noise. So allow this creative board to give me their report. And that report, by the way, will also indicate on ways in which we can be able to figure out what revenue stream can be created for yourselves. One thing that I do know, a function that is done by the county government, wasanii wote wamekuwa wa Mombasa. I'm talking about from the time I got into office, all events that have been done by the county government of Mombasa, wasanii wote wanatoka Mombasa. We have never had any instance where there's any artist who has come from anywhere else. In fact, one New Year, some artists were called. The next New Year, walipoambiwa wacha wengine waitwe, wale kwamba walioitwa mwaka jana walikuja wakakasirika kweli kweli, wakaenda kwa mitandao wakasema ya kwa imechaguliwa unfairly. Nikajiuliza, sasa wewe ulichaguliwa last year, how come it was not unfair then? I hope I've been able to answer. So allow this creative board to do their not unfair then. I hope I've been able to answer. Let's give them the by next naanza hii July inaokuja, we'll be able to now do way more for all of you. But samahani kama ulipeana message ya kuhusiana na promoting this, we will discuss it. I take the opportunity to just say sorry on the behalf of those who did not give me that message. Sawa sio? Or probably nilikuwa siko, I don't know. But you have my support. Maybe we take the next round of questions?
Yeah. I'm very grateful today. Alhamdulillah, we got a chance to talk to you, Mr. Governor, on behalf of Mombasa Vibrants and Influencers. Mr. Governor, on behalf of influencers, I have 3 requests. Number 1 is provision of a creative digital hub for influencers with co-working space, internet, podcast rooms, and the hub is to be funded or subsidized by the county with a public-private partnership. And number 2, inclusion in tenders and opportunities. We as influencers should be given priority access in county tenders, advertising, and event hosting gigs. And number 3, monthly or quarterly paid engagements. We are requesting for monthly content campaigns promoting county programs, tourism, health, youth, and culture. Mr. Governor, we believe as content creators or as influencers, we are not just influencers. We are people promoting the culture, storytellers, and modern ambassadors of this beautiful county. Thank you so much.
We do not mention the good stuff that has been done in the administration. I think we do that quite a lot. Personally, I do. But at the same time, say to go 2025, soon elections are around the corner. We're a bit worried that part of your manifesto has not been achieved. And you're right. Such forums, we really appreciate them. Thank you for having us here, because then it gives us an insight of what is happening or what is yet to happen, what is in the pipeline from your manifesto, so that we are yet in a better position to also inform our followers and the public of the same. But if there is silence, then we are unaware of what is happening in the administration or in the county government. Then all we have to do is listen to those who talk to us, which is the public. And that is what we've been doing. And I'm here representing the minority in Mombasa, the animals. They're hardly mentioned. And I think as Muslims, as Christians as well, we are told, in the Bible, you are the shepherds of these beasts. And in the Quran, we are also the caretakers. And they live in communities just like us, isn't it? Now, my concern for, I think I was telling Husni the same thing, that as environmentalists, you need to be acutely aware that it is animals that give you those trees. That bat, that bee, they're the ones that do the pollination for you to be able to get those trees that eventually you come and protect. And my concern here today is that according to the Global Forest Watch, from 2001 to now, we've lost over 28% of biodiversity in Mombasa urban spaces. And also at the same time, it also contributes to high carbon emissions. And as stewards now of the green building initiatives, I think there is a concern from us for you to tell us what is the way forward. Because it is not just what has happened at Uhuru. We see trees being cut and we say, oh, this one tree has been cut, now we're raising the issue. I think it's something that has built up over time. For us, seeing trees cut down along Nyali, on Links Road, for us seeing trees cut down in Ganjoni, for us seeing trees cut down as well when it happened in 2023. And CBO on environment raised these issues along railways, where the Juakali people planted over 20 trees for them to get shed when they're doing their small businesses there. And they were all cut down, and it was on pedestrian way. It wasn't even in the developer's land on railways. So my concern is the displacement of those bats that are at Uhuru Gardens. And I think you're aware, for 5 years consecutively, I've held rabies, free rabies vaccinations in Mombasa County. where in fact Pwani Animal Welfare is recognized as the center of excellence for Global Rabies Alliance in the Coast region for the work we do here. And my concern is that rabies, bats are agents of rabies at the same time. If we displace them, and they usually harbor in the virus, it may be in its dominant state, but if we stress them out, again, mental health for animals is not considered. If they're overly stressed out and they get displaced, they will displace in human populated areas, which they will interact with humans and they will interact with animals. We are One Health organization, and our concern is not just for those animals, but the ripple effects that it comes again to humans. And again, I raise this issue with Husni. Cleanliness of these public spaces. You talk about mental health, and Uhuru Garden offers that. It's a physical and mental place for where people go and relax. You know, and those bat droppings there as well, once they dry, they are a very high source of fertilizer, but at the same time when you displace them when they're very dry, the spores cause fungal infections in humans as well. So cleanliness of such public spaces is also paramount. And in the issue of mental health, as a counseling psychologist myself, I'd like to say this, that even when we build wellness centers, my experience with my people, with my Swahili people, is that they've still not accepted mental health. And the only way we'll get them to go to Portrees for wellness is if we start raising awareness campaigns from now on the importance of mental health wellness from an age of the kids you're talking about in school. And again, your teachers also need to be taught on mental health awareness for children, because we cannot sort out our homes and then the children come and get affected by teachers as well in schools. So thank you.
Is it afternoon? Yeah. Good afternoon. First of all, before I proceed, His Excellency the Governor, I would like to appreciate you as Nurturing Stars Organization. Mentor, thank you very much for your support, and Chief Kurichwa, thank you so much. My concern is one. Not one, maybe I have, but that's the one. To summarize it in one question, what does the county government of Mombasa have for the community-based organization? Because as CBOs, we interact with communities a lot of times, more than any one of you. I came here maybe with a solution. During Ramadan, we invited you to the youth. As you know, we are building the Youth Empowerment Center. We invited you to the annual Grand Iftar, but unfortunately you could not be there, but you sent someone to represent you. But then, His Excellency the Governor, the Youth Empowerment Center is being built at the center of Old Town, where we have a lot of problems. Maybe we can say insecurity, the drugs, and all of them. So we want to build the Youth Empowerment Center in Old Town. We have already gotten the space. We have already started with the, I can say like the showplace. But now the main center itself, we still are not able to construct it because of source of funds. As CBOs, we don't have funding. We look for donations and sponsors. Other thing is, in that Youth Empowerment Center, we can, I myself, I'm really into empowerment of youths in education. We are, as you know, in one of our programs, we have the digital literacy programs that we do. We have the mental health programs itself that, as you have been talking about, a lot of you. And we have the tuition centers that you revive them yourself, the Tijara Tuition Center and the Abrar Tuition Center. But then another issue, His Excellency the Governor, the last time you came to Tijara Tuition Center, we had a little bit of issue on the back side, the first floor and the second floor, and you promised that there is a contractor who is going to come and check and start constructing. The contractor came, did the quotation. I don't know if it came back to you, but the contractor came. But till right now, we have not seen any construction or renovation going on there. And the other thing, you promised us the same day that our tutors who tutor there, they're going to be given permanent contracts or temporary, I don't know. they are going to be given contracts so that they can sustain themselves, because all of them are volunteers. But we've tried with the Department of Education and for you yourself, but till right now, we have not seen anything. I hope you'll put that into consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Founder of Mashinani 254. So I speak for persons with disabilities. That is what my organization stands for. So now I'd like to ask, what are some of the policies that are underway to ensure that the youth, the persons with disability youth, are protected? And number two, I believe that there is a digital mapping, a disability mapping that you're doing, which props to you. Thank you so much for doing that. But now there was an FGD that we conducted, and there were comments from PWDs that there is no inclusion when it comes to education. That we have a lot of youth in public schools, and they go through a lot. Like there's literally a student who dropped out of school because there's no ramp. There's no ramp to take them to school. Each and every day they have to be lifted to the class and come back to class, and they were forced to drop out to school. We have cases of in hospitals. We have deaf people. Right now, I believe that the sign language interpreters have been put in some hospitals, but not all of them. So you find a deaf person going there. They actually get to the point where there is a misdiagnosis because they are not understood on what they are going through. So now, what is the county government doing to ensure that there is inclusion in hospitals? Another complaint that the PWDs said was in regards to the medicine. We have people suffering from albinism. Sometimes they say that access to the oils that they use, they don't get to access them as much as they did before. And also we have PWDs that are suffering from dwarfism. They say that the beds in government hospitals, they are not inclusive. So now my question is, what are some of the things that we are doing so that, because these are also taxpayers like any other person. So what are some of the things that are being done by the county government to ensure that there is inclusion of PWDs in hospitals and in schools? And lastly, because I have this chance, 23rd of September, we have International Day of Sign Languages, and possibly Mr. Governor would like to officially welcome you for that event. It's going to just a day, or rather an event that is going to commemorate and acknowledge the presence of sign language and how it has helped PWDs speak out for themselves and other people. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. God is good, and all the time is good, and that is nature. Wow. I'm a concerned citizen, a taxpayer of this great county and country. I'm a policy champion at Swahili Port Hub Foundation. Leo nimepata fursa hii, nisipoongea nitaonekana kama mimi ni mnafiki. Kwa hivyo lazima niongee na initoke. Your Excellency Governor Abdulswamad Sharif Nassir. Last month, I think most of you are aware, there was a particular video that circulated on social media, and I was championing out for budget processes. And my biggest concern that I raised was the reason why the county executive of Mombasa did not do a public participation for the PBB. And we had a delegation where we went to the assembly, and we presented our statement, and after that we were called in for a talk. And one of the things that the assembly reached out to us is that the county government of Mombasa, which is the executive part, said that on 12th of February, which was on a Wednesday, that they did a public participation for both the county physical strategy paper and for the PBB. For me, it is a violation of law under the PFM Act and constitutionally, because it is the county physical strategy paper that informs the PBB. We cannot have a public participation for both process, because for a budget cycle it's a process. This has to happen before this has to happen. Ni kwa mfano, in a layman's language, you cannot get to the 5th floor before you get to the 2nd floor. So for that, the county executive violated the law. Again, it is my great concern. We have been crying out, and I think content creators wamekuja hapa na wanataka kazi. Every time that there is a notice for public participation, azifiki, but when it comes kutangaza vitu zengine, we see how the county amplify. Why don't we use these content creators when wako hapa ndani ya hii nyumba leo, that anytime there is a public participation that it happens in Mombasa County, wao ndo wakuwe ni sauti ya Mombasa County katika kufikisha ujumbe. Because people cry out, we have seen severally and have said this, and we have presented this in memorandum, kwamba constitutionally we know that we are mandated for a minimum of 7 days to a maximum of 14 days for the county to publicize. But again, it is not being gazetted, it is not being any publicized to the extent kwamba yule mwananchi wa chini anajua kwamba kuna public participation. Inasikitika kwamba we have financial documents ambazo zinaenda kwenye public participation, lakini turnout inakuwa very low. So one, I will talk about the PBB, which is the public base budget. Katika the PBB the financial year 2025-2026, Your Excellency the Governor, we have seen that the county has budgeted around 14.8 billion. Na hizi pesa zote ni za kufanyia development na expenditure na recurrent. But again, tukiangalia katika ile PBB, mimi swali langu la kwanza litakuwa, what is the current timeline of the full operationalization of the county revolving fund? Kwa sasa tunaita stawisha fund, kwa sababu in the last financial year it was there but it did not happen. Kwa mwaka huu pia imekuwa tena, and these are things that they keep on repeating katika document, meaning they are being budgeted and allocated but hazifanyiki. So my question to you, timeline ni gani? Kwa sababu tumeiona kwenye PBB, and what measures have been put in place to ensure swift enactment and effective implementation of youth policy to guide the development programs za vijana. It is so sad that tangu devolution we are 13 years into county government, lakini sisi kama vijana wa Mombasa we don't have a youth policy. We have been crying it loud, tumelia, and if I can quote your own words, during the last year International Youth Day ilipokuwa yafanyika, ulisema kwamba bill tayari iko tayari kupita, but paka sahi when we go to the assembly tunaambiwa bado kitu kama hiyo. So we want to again to understand the enactment na the level yenye imefikia ya the youth development policy. So my other concern is the Mombasa yangu. It is a great initiative, Your Excellency, that ulileta kwa vijana wa Mombasa. But what the catch is, mfano ukiondoka akuje governor mwingine, hii Mombasa yangu it is not enacted kama bill ambayo imepitishwa ama kama law. We want you kama our governor to make it, to ensure kwamba Mombasa yangu inakuwa ni kama law kwa enforced katika Mombasa County. Even if the next governor anakuja itakuwa iko hapo, so that we have a way that we can have volunteering and internship opportunities through Mombasa yangu program. There was one time ulisema kwamba Mombasa yangu haijiri vijana tu kufagia, but inaajiri in different departments. But we want this Mombasa yangu initiative to be enacted kama law katika Mombasa County, ndio ili iweze kusaidia, isije kuwa ni program ambayo inakuja miezi mitatu inaisha ikipotea. Ya mwisho kabisa nikitaka kupatia wenzangu chance ni kuwa sote tunaelewa kwamba Mombasa vijana wengi wanapenda kujihusisha na masuala ya sports. Na katika the same PBB yenye iliachiliwa na the county assembly from the executive inatuambia kwamba the Mombasa International Stadium is 70% complete. I wanted to get from you, Mr. Governor, is it really 70% complete ama iliandikwa tu? Thank you very much.
Raise an issue regarding the matters of there's actually a number of issues. I'm going to go straight to the ones that One, you said that maybe I was not understood. I never said to talk about goodness of my administration. Talk about the goodness of Mombasa. Mombasa supersedes me as an individual. Mombasa is going to exist even in my absence. When I say that talk about the goodness of a county, you do not have to talk about the goodness of me as an individual. But at least talk about the county you are in. Eventually this is home. That's what I meant. And I did not refer to necessarily ask anyone. In fact, anyone who's here, for the avoidance of doubt, I'm not asking for you to flatter me or pamper me with kind words or anything. But all I'm asking you to do is realize you also have a moral obligation that what you talk about transcends above our borders and beyond, or rather. So it is an issue of Mombasa, not necessarily me. I'm only one individual. God willing, I will continue for another term. But at the same time, there's life and death, so. And the issue is, I think you asked me about what happened yesterday. Maybe it's important I just try and... I talked to, by the way, a number of environmentalists and conservationists after that incident. I'm the one who reached out. I reached out to them. I talked to the hoteliers about it as well. We received a weather alert. We receive this, by the way, every week as a county government. You will recall the last one that I received was about the winds, and when I made the declaration that the beaches should not be accessed, wengine wakajifanya wajuaji, watu 4 walienda wakazama, ikabidi waende wakaokolewe. Tunashukuru Mungu kwa waliokolewa. Lakini ingelikuwa hatukuweka watu pale na tukuweka ile tahadhari, ingelikuwa ni shida nyingine. So one of the things the disaster team actually raised, and the disasters team does not consist of just county employees. It is across. It is many sectors. It goes beyond just the county government employees. One of the issues that they raised was with the winds and with the rains that are there is a possibility of trees falling. I take responsibility that the department made one mistake. The department should have, and I reiterate this, and it is actually a policy that whatever it is that they wish to do, they need to notify and inform the public of what it is that they intend to do or what they're doing. Not very long ago, Tononoka Social Hall was actually destroyed by a tree. We thank God it was a building and not a human being, because today it would have been a different issue altogether. So when they made this decision to cut the trees, it was not because we really love a situation where we have no trees. It is not because we really want a situation where our children will not grow on trees. But some things got necessitated. And I am repeating again, the mistake the department did, and I take ownership of that mistake, was failing to communicate the same with the public prior to that being done. To communicate to the conservatives, to the conservationists, to communicate as well to those who are in the sector of environment. But the decision as to whether that tree was fit or not was not done by a politician. It was done by environmentalists. there's actually a whole report where they said this tree is going to be, it can be a threat. I had a word with the good friend, Hersi, today morning. We had a very long conversation. I even had a word with Paula as well. And I actually have told them, instead of us just saying what it is that the government can do, why don't we actually work together and see what we can do together? Do I want to live a situation where the tree that I played under, my children and my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren? Of course I would. Many times we've had scuffles with even Kenya Power employees who go and cut trees without any particular permission. It's not happened once or twice. We've actually arrested a number of people who went and cut trees without any notification. But this particular one, I want to assure everyone the intent was about saving lives. The intent was not about making Mombasa a concrete jungle. I even saw others saying that we, I don't know who in their right mind would even think that we would want to steal Uhuru Garden. I even saw another one, by the way. Someone made a comment. Someone said, I want to make a quick buck on a tree. I mean, surely, me, asa nikauze mti ndo nitafanya nini? I mean, but what I do promise is the department is going to reach out to all of you on Tuesday, explain to you exactly what transpired, and work out with you, not for any other reason. The same way when I have a very, very expansive ECD program, not for me to be able to be the benefit of the impact of that, but for you guys to work with the government on what can we be able to do so that our children and grandchildren can benefit from the wisdom of not fighting but actually working together on these elements. And by the way, that conversation should include as well, do we need to come up with a policy where every built-up area, Japan has done it, despite the fact that they're very, very, their human population per square kilometer is way, way, way higher than here. But what they have done is for every built-up area, you need to keep a certain percentage that has to be open area. Do we need to go into that discussion? Do we need to go into the discussion that it is compulsory for us to do ABC? I welcome that, and it is unfortunate that this conversation had to come after a very, very monumental tree going down. This should have not been the case. I take the responsibility that the department should have reached out to everyone and had a word with them and tell them what it is. Probably others would have come up with other solutions, but it was necessitated in the interest of actually saving lives. As I was seated here, I think one of the young boys who is here is in charge of Tononoka, and he actually printed out the damage that some trees had done on the whole. They either need to get another printer because this but anyway, I assure you there was no ill motive whatsoever. That I give everyone a guarantee on. To the issue of mental health, one of the mandates of the Wellness Center will not just be to treat, but to also create awareness. I agree with you, it all starts with us creating that level of awareness. By the way, when you tell me that people don't believe in wellness centers, one of the challenges that Portrees Hospital has today is someone has been treated, they're now stable, they just need to be able to take their medication. Do you know there are some families who refuse to go and pick their family members? So it forces us as a county government to find out where they live, look for ways to take them. So some things are beyond government. Some things it's just societal issues. And if we just go back to the basics of who we were once as a society, we would have solved a very, very large percentage of what our problems actually are.